Hello everyone, welcome to Research Writing, Session 2 online. I want to thank you all for joining this class this semester, and it's always hard to do a Session 2 class because you're already in the middle of the semester. It feels a little weird, so I'm really all glad that you're here. I'm really looking forward to working with you this semester. My name is Patrick Nuttall, and I'll be your instructor. I sent a welcome email the other day, so hopefully you've all had a chance to do that, but just as a refresher, I got my MFA in Morgantown, and I'm a writer some of the time anyways. Not much else to know about me other than I'm here for you all semester, and I really want to help and make sure that you can succeed as much as you can. I do have cats. I might pick one up and show you at some point. They're adorable, although troublemakers. But yeah, so that's me. Research 104 is an interesting class where basically what we're going to do is we're going to focus on one topic of your choice this semester. Each of you will choose separately, and we're going to go through the entire research process to expand on that topic, to turn it from just a general idea into a full-fledged paper at the end, a full-fledged research project. Now, this is going to be I don't want to say difficult class, because the class itself isn't too difficult, especially since recently we did a revision of the course to make it more in line with the course goals and the mission, and for the most part it's much stronger, and I found that to be the case while teaching it. But what you will find is that 8 weeks makes for a very quick course. It does mean that there's basically going to be 2 assignments to a week, one discussion forum where you'll be expected to both answer it and also answer 2 others, and those 2 others will be a part of your engagement grade at the end of the semester. I'll total that up. And then there'll be a bigger assignment. It'll be sort of the assignment for the week. On week 4, we will have 2 assignments that will be a little bit tougher, but it's completely, it's manageable. Last semester people did really well, and I was very impressed. So I have no doubt that you guys can do it as well. When you have the opportunity, go through the syllabus. As just with every class, it's going to tell you everything you need to know. It's going to tell you the grading requirements, or my grading process. I accept late work the first day. It's minus, basically every day it's like minus a certain percentage, basically being equivalent to letter grades. It's basically minus a letter grade each day. And after 72 hours, I no longer accept it. Of course, this is pretty variable. If you get a hold of me ahead of time and you communicate with me, I'm absolutely happy to work with you. I want to make this as easy for you as possible. Things happen. Maybe the internet's out, especially if you live on campus. Sometimes the internet will wig out. Other times, you might need to get a hold of the sources through the library database, and the database might be down, especially on a Sunday night, which is somewhat, it happens. So there might be times, you get sick, you can't do it. As long as you can get a hold of me by the due date, usually I'm happy to work with you. Now, after 2 or 3 weeks, or even after the 72-hour period, I like to have that communication ahead of time so we can plan. So that's one of the major things to look at in the syllabus. There is a weekly schedule, although you'll notice that right now the weekly schedule is off on the dates. It is still set for last semester. I fixed it all on the regular Moodle schedule, and then I forgot until literally just this moment that I haven't fixed on the document. So I'm going to change that, but it'll basically be the exact same schedule. It'll just be the dates are slightly off. Oh, they're a semester off, so that's actually kind of a big deal. Okay, I'll have that fixed by, if not tomorrow, Thursday. Anyways, it'll also, we don't have a late policy here because it's online. there's basic stuff like make sure you have access to a computer. You can't expect me to teach you basic computer stuff. Of course, I'm still happy to be helpful on that front, but if you have any problems on that level, get a hold of IT or there's people that can help you on campus with computer stuff that you might have trouble with. And then there is the section on plagiarism. Now, this is going to be a part of this shadow makes it look like I have those wing things that people do with makeup. That's weird. So, God, what was I even talking about? Sorry, I got distracted easily. I can see my face and it's disconcerting. And the light balance changed. Oh, because the sun came out. Anyways, sorry about that. I got completely off track. So, yeah, go into the syllabus, read the plagiarism. You're going to have to for the first assignment anyways. It's going to ask you questions about reading the academic honesty and what you learned from it. That's important. I will say that we don't tolerate academic dishonesty, and that doesn't just include plagiarism. That also includes passing off other, passing off a previous assignment or a different assignment as your own. There's a lot of things that it covers, so definitely read that. So make sure to go through the syllabus, check it out. But that's sort of the basic stuff. If you go over it, it'll talk about the course goals, which are very important. Access to appropriate library information, identify and use scholarly and professional sources, frame an interesting research question, write a thesis, analyze a large research project, define plagiarism, cite sources, etc. Again, that's what we're trying to accomplish, and that will be in the syllabus. The course description through analysis, synthesis, and the practice of various research, writing, information literacy strategies. Students will develop a research question, a focused topic, choose, analyze, read scholarly professional sources, organize, write, revise. It's kind of a mouthful, and it isn't necessarily, it's more descriptive, or definitional than descriptive, I guess. But check it out. Also, I'll make sure that you have Howard and Taggart, Research Matters. We are going to be reading through that. The first chapters we're going to read are online, but if you haven't had it yet, pick it up. It's pretty cheap used. Also, there's probably someone on campus that hasn't sold it back, so maybe you can snag it with them. Either way, those readings are going to be important. Okay, I kind of went off the rails talking about that. Did it in way too many different orders, but check it out. It also talks about the course requirements, how much each section is weighed. There's basically 4 units, and each one of those has a weight to it, and then there's sharing your progress, which is the discussion forums, and that's 15%, and then engagement, which is your discussion forum comments, are 10%. It all totals up to 100. So that's something really to kind of keep track of. Other than that stuff, as far as resources and syllabus is concerned, so of course you always have access to me. I try to get to you in a reasonable amount of time. I do work a second job. In fact, that's why I'm a little dozy right now. I work a second job, so I'm not always right next to the computer, but I do try to get to you in a reasonable amount of time. And also, we do have a library liaison named Joseph Litres. God, I know his name. I was just trying to read it, and I need new glasses. So Joseph Litres, he's an awesome guy. He's amazing. Go to him if you have any questions about research specifically. If you can go to the library at any time, and they can help you at any point in your research process. But Joe is a great contact. We have his email. Also, you can stop by and ask him. He's often, he'll be at the research desk, reference desk sometimes, and that can be pretty, he can be really helpful. Also, keep in mind that you always can go to the writing center. This is something I try to tell my students. People that go to the writing center often do better. And students that go to the writing center at the end of the semester almost always do better than they did at the beginning of the semester. It's a wonderful resource. Your money is already paid for it. everybody is familiar with the types of assignments, so they can go step by step. And just like Joe and just like the librarians, they can help you at any stage. You could be, writing your research proposal and not sure exactly, even where to get started, or you can be writing your outline and be working on the conclusion of the outline and be like, well, I don't really know how to do this. Here's what I've got so far. They usually like you to have brought in something, but it can even just be notes. And they can help you. You oftentimes have to make an appointment. I don't know if they have... Yeah, you have to do appointments, but there is some online options. You can send them stuff, and they're very helpful. I always try to push the Writing Center because people almost always do better. Okay, the other thing to keep in mind is there are some student forums. That place is for you. I won't really interact there. That's mostly just so you can talk to each other, ask questions of each other. There's a forum specifically for each unit, and that will be, if you have a question, you can drop it there, talk to other students about it. It's really my attempt to give you a place to be less formally interactive with each other. You have to interact through the discussion forums, but a lot of times, many of you are not going to put a great deal of effort into your comments. It might be a late night, it might be a bad week. So your comments might not necessarily be as, it just happens. I've taken online classes and I've done it too. Your comments aren't necessarily always going to be the most interactive. So the student forum is a place that you can really, talk to each other in a less formal setting. Usually it's not crazy used, but it's still helpful. Okay, so sort of on to the Moodle page. Like I said, the syllabus's calendar is a little rough. I've had that fixed. But the Moodle page has a calendar of what we'll be doing week by week. It also has links to the assignments and many of the resources. So that's really what you're going to be following. We're 8 weeks, so each week has a couple assignments. And really on the 9th week is when even though we're 8 weeks, there's 16 weeks and then finals kind of thing. It's 8 weeks. It's very similar to that. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah. So it is 8 weeks. That's right. The finals week, it doesn't really count here. It's very confusing. But anyway, so go through those weeks now. You don't have to click the links. You don't just be aware what's coming up. I would always at least know what's going on this week and the next week, because you don't want something to come at you from left field, especially if there's gonna be stuff due around Thanksgiving. There's gonna be stuff due, right around Christmas break. And the 15th is when it ends. So you don't want necessarily to be getting towards one of those times where you might be doing stuff, or if you have a game, or if you have a concert out of town or something. You really want to know what's coming up, and it's all up there, everything. Except for the videos, the welcome videos. The videos I upload separately. In fact, the videos hopefully will be better in quality, and I do apologize for this. But yeah, so this week, week 1, the 21st through the 27th, you're going to be reading 2 chapters, chapter 1 and chapter 3. Those 2 chapters have been included because there's the assumption that maybe this first week you don't have it, especially if you're ordering via Amazon or Books or online. You might not have it yet, so this first week we try to ease you in, although that won't be the case. It's expected you have the book after that. There's the 2 assignments, the discussion forum for initial questions, and the discussion forum for exploring the social sciences. You're going to notice that next week we also do some more exploration of topics. That's because I like to have the 3 touch points, the thinking about social sciences in general, thinking about topics more specifically, and then the actual research proposal where you're actually working with it. In a normal 16-week class, we usually have a little bit more time to talk about topics and social sciences, what that is, and get more in depth into that. So this is a way that we can sort of mimic that level of involvement without, having the time to do it. So it's a pretty good balance. You'll also find a list of social science examples. I've just collected basically 3 examples on multiple different social science topics, or like sort of subcategories like education, economics, healthcare, sports. Just something that you can go to and say, okay, I know something that I might be interested in. Like maybe you're a nursing student, and you're like, okay, well, I want to do something with that. Let's check on, like, oh, there's some ideas for mental health. Of course, you don't have to use these topics, like from these newspaper articles or links or whatever, but they're just a good place to start if you don't really know what you're doing. So that's what's on the table for this week. The discussion forum stuff is, a lot of you have actually already started, which is good. They're due tomorrow night. And they're pretty, the first one's pretty simple. It's just 7 questions. They want you to do a little bit of reading. They want you to go over the research guide. But it's really just to sort of acclimate you into the group, and not into the group, but into the class, to make sure that you've learned about academic dishonesty, that you know the difference between different types of sources, like from the web or from the databases that we'll be using in the library itself. So it's pretty simple questions. I don't imagine that'll be too much of an issue for most of you. And the other one is a little bit, it's a lot more text, but it's actually pretty easy. It's just the definition of what social, or a definition of social science is, why social sciences is important, and just a description of the assignment. Basically what I want you to do is find a specific topic in the social sciences that you find interesting. You can take it from the list that I provided, or you can find something else. But basically, find one of those topics and just sort of talk about it. Why are you interested? What speaks to you? Why does it speak to you? That's, that kind of thing. And then respond to 2 other students. Both pretty lead-in kind of assignments. They just get us in. They get us familiar with each other. They get us acquainted with each other. And they get us acquainted with the topics. I don't want to have this drag forever. I know there's a lot of dead space in this. But I also don't want like an hour-long video, because nobody will watch it. And I wouldn't blame you. That's crazy. So that's kind of what we're doing this first week. That's sort of all of like the basic expectations. Again, read the syllabus. Look at the Moodle page for like the calendar of what we can see. There may be some changes throughout the semester. There is, like, the syllabus will say the calendar can change. I like not to change the calendar, but I have a couple slack days, so if something has to change, if I have to push something back, I'll never be bringing things forward, but I have to push something back for some reason. That is possible, but it hopefully won't happen. So I hope you really do enjoy this class, or at least get something out of it. I know most of you are just here because it's required, so it's sort of just a process to get through, and that's okay. Absolutely. I mean, we all have taken required classes, so I totally get that. But hopefully this isn't too painful. I really just want you to get you through this, and for you to get through this, and me to help you get through this with as little pain as possible. But I also want to make sure that we are learning stuff, that we are finding stuff that's helpful. Otherwise, if you have any questions, let me know. I try to check my email at least a couple times a day, depending on my other work schedule. And I will always try to get back to you in a pretty reasonable amount of time. Thank you all for joining the course, and I look forward to working with you. Bye.